What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new commentary video. Before this video gets started, I want to quickly mention thank you guys for clicking on this video today. It does mean a lot to me, and really quickly, there's a link to submit your own questions for these videos if you would like, down in the description via a Google form, and there's also a link to join our Discord. Go ahead and join it. We like to hang out, chill, all that great stuff with you guys. But without further ado, we are going to hop straight in today's video. And today, I'm actually not reading from the Google form. I just have a topic that I want to talk about. So, if you don't follow me on social media or you don't hang out in the Discord, which is totally fine, I have been playing Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, finally. And it's kind of made me think a lot about life. And all the Souls games that I played have. I played Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, and now Sekiro. And I fell in love with Elden Ring a couple years ago, my freshman year of college. And it was my first Dark Souls experience. And I loved it. And it was such a different experience. It was something new, something exciting, that it really just made me really look at life differently. I feel like Sekiro has kind of been that perfect package that kind of sums up how I've been feeling. And I want to talk about that a little bit. And I want to talk about how it's kind of really a good way to experience why you shouldn't give up. So here's the thing. There's been a good number of things in my life when I was younger that I would just quit and I would give up. The real first thing that I can think of is when I was a kid. I did wrestling for 1 year and I gave up like after practice 1 or 2, right? And I went, but I hated it. And, you know, for me, I look back on that like, why did I quit, right? And it's pretty easy to say, it's like I hated it, right? But I didn't push through, I didn't persevere, I didn't continue to push. And in the current spot of my life, I don't like to give up on things. It's pretty rare for me to actually drop or give up on something, whether if that's a film, a TV show, a video game. I don't like to give up, right? I don't like to give up in my personal life. There's been multiple goals that I have pushed for that I refuse to give up on, you know? And I think that a lot of people just like to give up. And it's partially because they haven't been challenged enough. And I honestly think that there are many different ways that you can find ways to challenge yourself to practice this. And for me, I genuinely do mean this when I say this. I do think that actually these Souls games are a perfect way to test yourself, a perfect way to practice your sort of like your struggle, right? And the reason why is because Elden Ring and D3 are hard games, but I could beat those. Sekiro is a different fucking animal. Like, truthfully, this game is hard as fucking balls, right? And the reason why it's so hard is because it's so different from the other Souls games. In Elden Ring, in D3, if you want to like take on another boss instead of fight this one, most likely you can. Or in D3's case, you can go ahead and grind up some levels, come back with some more strength, and guess what? You're going to kick the thing's fucking ass. Sekiro doesn't have that. Sekiro is a system where the way how you're going to level up is by defeating bosses. So the game is basically telling you, you are going to sit here and you are going to learn how to struggle, how to get better before we allow you to continue, before Miyazaki says that you're allowed to keep playing his fucking video game. And so for me, it's been a really interesting experience. And I don't think that a couple years ago, me probably would have beat this. And I think that it's a good test of your own patience. And I'll tell you this. One of the things that I kind of learned throughout my late middle school and early high school is that there are going to be people that are going to try to put you down. There are going to be people that want to tell you that you can't do something or that you shouldn't do something. And the beauty of it is that as you get older, you get to prove them wrong. And one of the major things that I've talked about a little bit is I had multiple people in my life tell me that I should not go out of state for school and that they were worrying for me because I was going to a big city that was very much the opposite of where I grew up. And for me, I refused to simply let people tell me what to do. I am somebody that if I get set on something, you're not going to convince me otherwise. I literally had people that paid me money to apply to schools in state that were closer because they just didn't want me to go. And guess what? I took their money and I applied. I didn't even look at their letters because I already knew what school I was going to. And I think that this is something that you should want to chase in your life. And I think that one of the ways that you're going to work on your perseverance, one of the ways that you're going to practice on not giving up, is that you need to play something or do something that is going to challenge you a bit. Learn a new skill that is difficult. You know, I don't really talk about it, but I play guitar. And for me, when I started that, it was kind of tricky. It's tricky for everybody when they start, you know, they're learning their chords and, you know, especially when they play their first power chord, they want to quit. That's where most people quit, is when you try to show them how to play a fucking F power chord, they want to quit. And the truth is that you need to be able to persevere and keep trying because truthfully, I remember My grandpa plays instruments as well. He's played all my life. And I remember when he was first teaching me, and I'll never forget it. I learned, you know, a few basic chords and shit like that, learned how to play G's, E's, all that good shit, right? And he's like, all right, now we're going to play an F power chord. And he shows me how to do it. And I'll never forget it. I could not play it for like, you know, a couple hours. And I looked at it like, bro, I can't fucking do this. And I wanted to quit right there. And I wanted to quit right there. But I didn't. I kept pushing because I wanted something that I could fall in love with, something that I could be proud of. And it's something that I persevered. I kept trying, and eventually I could do it. I think that you need to find something if you're struggling with this. I think what you need to do is you need to find something that is slightly challenging. I don't think you need to jump the deep end and be like, I'm going to learn calculus tonight. Don't do that. So we're all gamers here. So honestly, what I would do, let's say your favorite game is, I don't know, BO2. And if you're somebody that's played it on regular, hit it up to hardened. Is that the next hardest? You know, bump it up to hardened or bump it up to veteran. Do something that is a little challenging, but not something that is like going to throw yourself in the deep end of the pool when you don't know how to swim, right? We're not going for the sink or swim approach here. We're going for a gradual, we're going to slowly walk into the deep end. We're going to make sure that you're strong enough to swim, keep yourself afloat in that 6 foot section. And what you're going to find out is that when you do practice these small things, when you do work on these small things, it's going to be easier and easier to accomplish things. It's going to be easier and easier to keep going when you want to quit. Because the thing is that if you don't face any challenges in your life and you don't face any issues where you want to quit, when you finally find something in your life where it's difficult for you, or you're dealing with a bad coworker, or you're dealing with something that genuinely puts up a giant challenge in your face, you're going to want to quit. I know people like that. You know, as much as I love my brother hasn't had like a ridiculous amount of challenges in his life, right? He's been pretty naturally good at sports. He's been naturally good at a lot of shit, but sometimes he gets frustrated and throws in the towel at certain things that aren't related to sports because he hasn't really experienced that. And I'm somebody that I feel like I've experienced a good number of challenges. You know, I talk about it a little bit, but I try to keep that part of my life out of these videos, is like my disability, right? I'm somebody that's legally blind. And so for all of my life, I've struggled to function in a world, man. Like it's we live in a world that isn't built around for somebody like me, right? Menus are tiny. I can't drive. There's lots of shit I can't do and shit that makes it challenging. You know, one of the things, that was always challenging was like sports in school, right? And gym. And if I didn't persevere, bro, I don't know where I'd be at, right? So I think it's kind of unfair for me to be like, oh yeah, it's so easy, right? Because it's like I've faced more challenges than I think that some people have. But also I think that you need to find something that challenges you a little bit. Find a hobby, find something that actually drives you to actually want to get better, something that you need to acquire a skill for, you know? Another thing too is that I've seen people do too, that I've recommended to people, is try out coding. You know, there's a lot of people that are really interested in making video games. And they're like, oh dude, I can make a better video game than all these fucking developers. Okay, do it. I want to see you do it. Start learning, you know, Java tonight. And, you know, another thing that I also like to do is when it comes to, let's say you're facing something where you're like, okay, I can't get a promotion at work. Okay, so why can't you? Write all the reasons down. And then one by one, we are going to tackle each one of those issues, right? And I think one of the good examples for this is when it came to these type of videos, is I kind of like wrote down some things that I was like, I can't do this, and here's some reasons. And I kind of worked through them, and kind of like wiped out all the reasons why I couldn't do something. And that's something that they do in game jams all the time when they tell you, hey, what type of game do you want to make? Okay, you want to make a first-person shooter. What are the things that you need to know to make a first-person shooter? You write down all those things, and then it's like, okay, why don't you know these things? Then they write down why they don't know these things. And it's like, okay, go out and do some research. And they do some research, and they're basically tricking you into doing that work for yourself without you even realizing it. And then you're like, wait, actually, it wouldn't be that hard. I could figure it out pretty quick. And so that's one of the important things that you need to do. And I want to talk a little bit more about my experience with Sekiro. In particular, one of the first major bosses, Genichiro, I was there for a couple hours. And the reason why is because I wasn't mastering the game system with a Mikiri counter and whatever the fuck the other one is when you jump with their head. This is a boss fight that relies on those two moves. This is the boss fight where they really want you to make sure, hey, you know how to do these, because we're going to be giving you bosses where if you don't do it, you're probably not going to win the fight. And it really put into perspective the amount of effort, the amount of perfection that Sekiro is asking from you. And it's a perfect experience, right? Like, this is one of the best games I've ever played. Because it's a game that isn't afraid to not pull its punches. It's a game that's going to punch you down and tell you, get the fuck back up. You're not done yet. And especially if you haven't played Sekiro, you get basically 3 lives in this game. So every time you die, you're not done. The game's like, get back up, motherfucker. Get back up, you know? Which I think is a really good metaphor for life, you know? Life is going to punch you down. Life is going to kick you in the goddamn teeth, and you're going to be laying there on the ground. And you can lay there and you can be a little pussy and crawl away. Or you can stand back up, put your fucking hands up and defend yourself and fight, right? And you got to do that. You got to fucking do that. I've seen a lot of people give up. They get tired. They don't want to do it anymore. And they're like, I throw in the towel. And I look at that like it's kind of crazy. Like, I've never really had a point where I, like in life in general, where I've just wanted to give the fuck up and throw in the towel. There's been times where I wanted to throw in the towel on activities, but I know some people that, like, if they get stressed out, they're like, I'm done. I give up on life. And it's like, bro, come on now. And I think that's really important to learn, especially as you get into the adult world, you know, as you get closer and closer to being an adult, is that you need to really learn what it means to persevere, because there is going to be plenty of challenges in your life. I can tell you right now, I remember at the end of my sophomore year of college, I was working on a new space on campus, and I got a promotion essentially, right? And I was helping building this space. I was choosing furniture. I was doing all kinds of shit. I was basically building exactly what I wanted this hangout space to be. And I was really excited I was going to be the boss of it. And then came that summer, and they laid a bunch of people off. And then they also fired me in the process. And it destroyed me. It made me very, very sad. But I no joke, spent the next couple days applying to jobs, and then I found my current job, right? But I know people that would have gave up right there. I know people that would have gave up. I know people that would have said, fuck it, I'm never gonna try again. And, you know, something that sat in with me and why I really kept pushing that night and why I started applying to jobs that night was because I was sitting there and I was really kind of like, I knew my mom knew it was bugging me, obviously, because my mom went through something similar when she was in the corporate world. And my mom goes, yeah, that's a dose of the corporate world for you. And that kind of sat with me like, you know, fuck the corporate world. If they want to tell me I can't do something, I'm going to prove them fucking wrong. So there I go. Then I went out and I found my current job that I absolutely love, and I have an amazing boss and all that great stuff. But yeah, no, I think it really just takes some real time. It takes some real effort. It takes some real time of pushing, trying to be something that people are going to tell you that you can't be, or something that you won't be, right? It's really going to take time for you to prove to them. And you're going to have to learn what it means to stand up, what it means to defend yourself, what it means to fight. But I would really recommend, honestly, if you're looking for a life lesson, play the Souls games. Elden Ring taught me something, D3 taught me something, and Sekiro is currently teaching me something. And what's great is that you are like, oh, I want to quit, I want to give up. There was 2 fights in particular in this game so far. I'm like 80% done with the game, where I've been like, dude, I'm done, I give up. 2 fights. And then I was like, you know what, no, I'll do a couple more runs, and then maybe I'll uninstall. And I persevered, and I did it. I killed both of the fights eventually, you know? And, you know, it just takes some time. And the further and further you get, and the more and more you practice, the better and better you get. Meaning, you know, in Sekiro's case, the better I'm at fucking parrying these guys' fucking swings at me. In real life, it's the better I am at, you know, making it through life. The more I'm able to become something that I want to be. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I know that today was maybe a bit schizophrenic. I don't know. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. It does mean a lot to me. And we're coming up on episode 100. I got something special planned for you guys. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And once again, there's a link to submit your own question to the Google form down in the description. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.